truly, I mean, I guess each time I say that it blows my mind, but honestly, this one, it's called the Neurovax patch. This patch, this little pink patch, it's also a 48-hour patch. This patch improves your blood and your immunity. I found it so helpful when I had COVID, and when I had COVID symptoms after COVID. It was this little patch that I really believe got me through and helped me to be able to get over a lot of those tough fever-like symptoms. And I didn't know exactly what it was doing when Jay sent this out. I mean, I believed him when he told me that it improved my blood and immunity and optimized my blood and immunity, but I needed to see it with my own eyes. And so I had heard that there was a live blood educator here in Naperville. I didn't even know what a live blood educator was, but she'll tell you more about it. But I made an appointment with her and I said the same thing. I'd like you to draw 2 drops of blood and see how they're different. And she said, well, what are you going to be changing in between? I said, well, I'm putting on this sticker. And she said, all right, let's see what happens. So I learned a wealth of information from Linda Sereika. She is not only brilliant, and she's done training around the world, and she can tell you a little bit more about her background, but she made me realize what this little pink patch can do and how it can improve my blood, like the shape of my blood, the flow of my blood, and it blew my mind. So I'm so excited that she is able to come here today and show us this. So Linda, come on up. Linda, this is going to blow your mind. So I'm so excited that she's here. As soon as Jay said, let's go, let's do this, Linda was my next call. And so anyway, okay, so I'm going to just take it away. You're going to do your thing.
I'm going to do my thing.
Yes.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yes.
All right, so about 30 years ago, I met this incredible nutritionist who's a chiropractor. And he said to me, he said, Linda, hey, have you ever seen blood live? And I said, dude, I'm a trauma nurse. I see blood live all the time. And he said, no, under the microscope. And I paused. And I thought about it, and I thought, oh my God, we have been doing blood autopsies our entire professional careers. A laboratory will not get your blood sample sometimes for 24 hours after it's drawn. All right? But they're looking for different things. So I went to his office, he took a drop of my blood, put it under a very simple microscope, and it changed my life. I went to one of the top nursing schools in the country. I went to Loyola University in Chicago, and I had never seen this while I was in school. And when you see your own live white blood cell, it will change your life. So, of course, I love Noelle. I love how passionate she is about this company, how much she believes in the products, and doing the brain mapping and then coming to see me. And we didn't just do a before and after, but we also did a 12 and a 24, and we'll talk about that later too. Because it's interesting, like, well, how long will the changes last? And I'll tell you honestly, when I have other companies that approach me and they say, can we do before and afters? All right? Because people will send me videos, because I am an instructor in this also, but they'll send me videos from other companies and they'll say, okay, well, this is what they saw. Every sample, every live blood sample has good and bad on it. Life is a balance. All right. The key is, and I told this to Noelle, I said, I will be happy to do this, but we need to look at the whole sample. All right. Because all of these clumpy cells and all of these free cells, I can show you on every sample. The key always is how much of the sample is good, how much of it is bad, how good is good, and how bad is really bad. All right. So fortunately, Lynn was kind enough to offer her finger. I have a sample set up here for you. Are we ready? Drum roll, please. And the picture, there it is. All right, this is live. This is Lynn's blood. So when I'm working with clients, it's understanding that when I'm viewing the blood, there's hundreds of things that I'm looking at. But for our purposes here today, I'm going to keep it the most simple, the most basic, and the most important things that you will ever learn about staying healthy. So what we have here right now are the red cells, and we've got a white cell in here too. Now, the number one cause of all pain and disease is a lack of oxygen. The key is, why isn't it getting there? Your red cells, if you look at them, if they do electron microscope, whatever, they have this dip in them. They're called biconcave discs, right? Where that dip is where the iron or the hemoglobin is. That's what oxygen attaches to, is to that hemoglobin or that iron. So number one, we need to make sure that the cells have iron in them. And when I see this little one here with this light coming through the middle of it, that means the iron is missing. So what's happened now is that the iron has decreased, the wall's collapsing, and the light is shining through it. So this little guy here would not be able to carry oxygen. Number two, we look at the shapes of the cells. Very few people know this, but only round red cells can carry oxygen. Now, fortunately, Lynn, you've got some beautiful red cells. We see they're really all of them beautifully shaped. So thank you for that and congratulations. All right. There are different things that will change the shapes of your cells. Hormones will change the shape. Stress will change the shape. Poor digestion will change the shape. Chemicals will change the shape of your red cells. Now, those will not be able to carry oxygen. Now, the key is we need to get the blood on these red cells into the body, out of the blood and into the body. This happens in a part of your blood vessels called the capillaries. So the capillaries are the smallest part of your blood vessel. They make up 85% of your blood vessel volume. They say end to end, if we laid them out, they would cover like a football field. The body is amazing, right? So the wall of the capillary is only one cell thick. So that way, when the red cell is in that capillary, now when the body says, I need oxygen, it can transfer. It says, here's the oxygen, give me your CO2, I'm going back to the lungs to get cleaned up. Right? But here's the challenge with this picture. The capillaries are only as big as one red cell. So they have to go through single file. And when we have blood that's clumped together like this, now I am in the center of my sample. And I'll move it around to show you, because I love when I work with people, I always start with the best looking part of your sample. I tell everybody, if you woke up this morning, I will find some good blood, okay? So I tried, Lynn, okay? I'm in the center of the sample, so this is the most appropriate picture of what's going on right now. So the interesting thing is she said she had some coffee this morning. Now, when I work with you, I ask you to fast for 4 hours, so she had coffee at 6 o'clock. Coffee is very acid. And so what it does is a tendency to clump the cells together. Because everything in the body, we're just a mess of protons. That's it. And some of us are messier than others. All right? But it's that whole pH thing. So now what's the challenge? The capillaries is only as big as one red cell. So right now, how many free cells have we got going around? Like here's a nice red cell. that can actually get into that capillary. And that's where the challenge is. It's fascinating because if you look at like video of an eye, like you could see the capillaries in the back of the eye really clearly. And a picture like this, what you would see is maybe one red cell shooting through every couple of seconds, kind of a thing. Well, that poor little eyeball now is not getting the oxygen that it needs. All right? So, number one cause of all pain and disease, lack of oxygen. Now you understand better, right? Oxygen needs to be on the red cell, and it needs to be able to get into those teeny tiny little capillaries. So we want the red cells to be separated. She's got them round. That part she's got doing really well. But now we got to get them separated. Number two, the number one cure for all disease is your very own immune system. All right? So this little guy, we've got different kinds of white cells. But this little guy right here, it's called a neutrophil. He's like the policeman in your body. So he's monitoring what's coming in, and when you're attacked, he sounds the alarm. And then he sticks around, he cleans up bacteria and fungi. And then there's other cells responsible for the viruses, for the cancers, things like that. But that's the one that's most important. Now, when we look at this neutrophil here, the neutrophil has got the black areas inside are called nuclei. 2 to 5 is considered normal. When we look at the neutrophils, they should be larger than 2 red cells. So it's kind of there. But here's the important thing. He should be moving. And this literally is what changed my whole life. When I saw my neutrophil in that microscope, and that neutrophil was moving, it was alive. It's like the Roomba vacuum cleaner. And he goes along and he's picking up garbage, right? That change, and I was just like, oh man, we've all got to see this. Everyone needs to see their own white cell. So right now we look at Lynn's. Like I said, it's a good size. I'd like it a little bit bigger. He's not really moving, and he should be moving. He's alive, so he should be moving around. So you put the patch on at 10:28. We mark time, okay? And we're going to do the blood again in an hour to take a look. Now, I've been very fortunate. I've done several people in this room. I've done their blood. I actually see an old student from one of my classes too in here. I don't know if you think I saw you, but I did. All right, but we'll take a look at the blood then again after an hour. But I do know from personal experience that consistently, regardless of what people have come to me with, we've done them before. They've not worn the patch for 24 to 48 hours. I've done their blood. They put the patch on. I've done their blood again. And there's always been a dramatic difference. So fingers crossed, because we're being taped. Right? So, and like I said, I will be happy to move this around so we can take a look at the sample.
Yeah, show us a couple, move it around a little bit and let's see a couple different things.
Yeah, so here you can see the white cells a little bit better, a little bit bigger, but again, they're really not moving. This table is moving. I know. All right. So are you asking about someone saying green, this stuff here?
No, to the right.
This one?
We don't see it now.
No. Yeah, if you could just move the screen a little, the slide a little bit to the right. Keep going a little more. There you go.
It's an air bubble, folks. No, like I said, I mean, there's a lot of different things that I see, you know, when I take a look at the sample, but we're going to keep this really simple. All right. You see, even now, you can take a look. Do you see that movement inside there? That's the cytoplasm. All right. It's like a little bit of a glittering effect. So he's alive, but he ain't moving. It's like our teenage boys, right? On that couch in front of that TV set, right?
Linda, can you tell them about what you told me with sugar and how?
Oh, interesting. Thank you, Noelle. What happens with sugar, and this becomes really important because remember your carbohydrates break down into sugars too. But what ends up happening when you do an excess amount of sugar, now sugar is energy. You need it. Your brain needs it. But when you do an excess amount of it, what ends up happening is there's literally a sludge that will surround the neutrophils. Now remember, they're responsible for cleaning up bacteria and alerting the rest of the white cells. So that sludge builds up around the white cell and they stop moving within 30 minutes. So there could be bacteria right here and he can't do anything. It takes him 5 hours to get out of that sludge. So that bacteria has a lot of time to do the nasty and make a lot more bacteria, right? So that's where the challenge comes in. So, and in blood, the neutrophils only live actually 6 hours. So in the body, we really don't know how long they live. Like the immune system, you think it's such an important thing, and it's one of the one thing that we understand the least. It's absolutely fascinating. I actually had some photographs of things I was seeing in the white cells that were changing. I've been doing this now for almost 30 years. And I saw some changes going on in the white cells, and there was a Dr. Alta Smith, who is an immune researcher, moving her lab from Africa to Germany or something like that, and she was coming through America and doing lectures, and I was able to get a private session with her to talk to her. And I brought some of my photographs, because I do photograph the blood when I work with people, and so I brought the photographs with me, and I said, is there any way you can help me understand what I'm seeing here? This is a change I've not seen before and stuff. And she's looking at the pictures and she's looking and she says, nope, but I want your pictures. Yeah. So that's it. And like I said, there are different kinds of white cells. The neutrophils are the most important ones. All right. We want to see the red cells round, which they are. We got to see the iron inside there, and we want to see them separated. So we'll give. How much time have we got left, Lynn? Okay, great. So if you'd like, is Irene coming up?
Irene's gonna come up next.
Right, okay.
All right,
I
awesome.
will be back.
Awesome.